This is Asim here. I thought that since I have had lots of requests from students about that if they can get any kind of a sample for presentations from the previous cohorts, so I thought that I will probably make up a small video to explain that what we are expected to do in this presentation. I think that this presentation is going to be submitted very soon. So here is a sample which I'm going to quickly go through with you guys. But remember that when we have a seminar session today or the next week, if you got any questions, please feel free to put that into the chat, or you can come to the classroom and then we can have a discussion on that. So as you can see that this is a coursework for a presentation which you have to pick and choose an organization. Remember, the organization doesn't just have to be from the list provided. It could be any international organizations who have recently gone through any kind of a digital transformation. So here I have got something called ABC Group. So I just made it up that to keep the name of the person anonymous and the details. So here we go. So the first page would have a title called Digital Transformation Strategy and whatever the organization you have got, presentations by X, Y, Z, and obviously the coursework code and the title of the presentation. And on the left side, you can see a blue box. Remember, guys, you can easily put up what of the organization you have chosen. So if you can add a kind of a logo or the monogram for that one, that would be really pleased. Great. Moving on to the next one, where you can see that introduction. You have to describe the introduction of of the organization, where you discuss the current position in the current digital economy. So, for instance, we have got some of the bullet points in here. For instance, we talk about the ABC Group is a global leader in e-commerce, cloud computing, and AI-driven logistics, etc., and etc. So we got known for its platform base, and then we have operates in a hyper competitive digital environment. It talks about ABC Group strategy, and then this project explores how ABC Group exemplifies modern digital transformation principles. Remember, guys, this presentation is just as a sample, but I would appreciate that if you have a bit of background as well to discuss, like where this organization started from. For instance, if it has started in 1920s and then they got a first digital transformation, probably they introduced a new website, or they got some new technology for Wi-Fi or Internet of Things, probably in 1960s. So you have to have a bit of a detail from where it started from, where it is moving up to, and then what they are doing right now, and obviously what are the expectations in the future, which we will discuss in a short while. Okay, so let's move on to the next one, where we have a projected document outline, where we are going to talk about that this presentation is going to be based on these sections, where the first section is probably going to be literature review, and then technologies and data sets, and then we talk about strategy artifacts, prototypes, use cases, conclusions, and references. Remember, this projected document outline doesn't have to be exactly these headings. It could be up to you guys, but just make sure that these headings are reflected from your assignment brief document as well. So including those ones, you can add as many as you like. Okay, but those ones are compulsory. That's what is the point I wanted to make in here. Then you talk about the literature review, in which you discuss about different models, theories. They just have to be into the bullet points, and then you mention these ones in here. Then you talk about the key theories you are going to use in here. So, for instance, you are using ITIL model, you are using TAM model, you are having a lean startup, you have a digital capability framework. So, whatever you have researched and discussed within your classrooms, then you can actually add those one which you think is rightly suitable for your organization. So, remember, this selection of the models and theories doesn't come just like with a click of fingers, or you just say, oh, I think that, for instance, if your organization is Amazon, so you just say that I think that Potter 5 Forces is going to be the best one. No, it doesn't have to be like that. You need to prove with an evidence that why you think that that particular model is going to be right fit for your organization's current situations. Remember, at this moment of time, it's just a presentation. But on the basis of this presentation, we are going to have a coursework done in few weeks time, and that there you are going to discuss that why you have selected the particular model. So you need a more explanation onto that one. Okay, then you have a next one, which is the literature review, key technologies at ABC Group. So they are probably using AWS, AI, NLP, and IoT. So you can actually have, you can shed a bit of a light on what technologies they're currently using at that particular organization. Okay, and then key technologies at ABC Group, radar chart. I think that this student has picked up some of this information from Statista. This is a very good contribution that if you can add in terms of a graphical format, that since they have used this kind of a technology, where they are right now and how it is impacting on this kind of a technology. I personally think that this student has picked up an organization which is having a huge impact on things, okay, on the current organization. So I can see that this graph doesn't reflect onto on the left one. This radar doesn't reflect onto the current state of Amazon, but probably there is a slight mistake in by that particular student that they have picked up Amazon and put it onto another organization. Okay, but let's move on to the next one, which is the dataset descriptions, which is the dataset characteristics, dataset name. So remember that this is a very, very key and important part of your presentation. A lot of students are missing that, oh, what is meant by the dataset? We just need to give the links and addresses. Remember, yes, you have to give all of these details, but you need to physically put up the pictures of the data sets along with the links into your presentation. So here, these are a bit of a details. Then you go to the next one. Here, this is what exactly I want in terms of your organizations. And remember, the link should be available. So for instance, if I want to verify, I click onto that one. It takes me to that page, and then I can download or see this data set in there. Okay, if you got any confusions, please let me know. But as far as I remember, the whole group has understood that we need to have a physical presence of the data set along with the pictures. Then we have the prototypes and analysis. So look at this one, this organization probably having trend pattern analysis, rating cluster analysis, sentiment analysis, insight for CX strategy. So you need to pick up whatever the organizations you have picked up, you need to come up with a prototype model for that one. But this is a bit of an analysis done, but not really the prototype is mentioned in here. So what you need to do is you need to, you're a computing student and you know what is meant by the prototype, the structure of the overall system. So you need to put that picture in here as well. So probably you can have two slides, one for the prototype itself and then prototype analysis. Okay, so early prototype and analysis. So this is again the analysis of the prototype is done in here, but the actual prototype is really missing. Okay, then you have strategic artifacts. Again, this is more about like what kind of strategies they have implemented and where they are right now. For instance, digital capital capability framework and platform model and strategy map and lean startup methodology. So you need to pick up according to your organizations how you think that they have incorporated the strategic artifacts. Then we have further explanation. I think this is the continuation of the previous slide. Then you talk about strategic artifacts again, which is at least, I think this particular sample explores that when you talk about the strategic artifacts, and this is explaining of all the artifacts in slide details, so which is a very good way of doing it. Then value added, this is the digital transformation strategy value added. So you can have ABC Group's platform-based and data-centric transition. So it's more about the details of what you think is the strategy has added the value into the current system. And then finally is the conclusion in which we talk about leverages data and digital capability, advantages of platform business model, agility, automation. So all these kind of technical words which you think is rightly suitable, the technology your organization have used, you need to pick up and choose in here and set it up in there. Okay, and then finally the references, which you can I'm sure that you need to have around 7 to 15 references. Remember, these references should not be older than last 10 years, and if I see some of the references older than 10 years, probably that is not going to be good, because this is more about your recent research. If you pick up a reference from 20 years ago, that does not reflect that you have done recent research. So remember, guys, this is what is all about your presentation. I know I will leave it with you guys to make sure that whether it is a good presentation or you need to add more details after listening to all of these points, the slides I have mentioned earlier. So I like to discuss that in the class today. Okay, thank you very much, guys. Have a lovely day ahead, and I'll see you in the seminar sessions. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye bye.